What's up, y'all? I've got some awesome buffs for Stakataka. Man, this thing is awesome. So, this is, on paper, one of the most bulky Pokemon in the hack. In terms of raw stats, I'm pretty sure it is the bulkiest Pokemon in the hack. However, you do have to consider things like Sandstream, Mega Steelix, which is now part Rock, and that is probably a little bit bulkier overall because it is the def. His bulk is like what? I think it's like 115-ish, 200, and then 100 base Spadef, but of course in the sand that's much bulkier. But Stakataka doesn't have any 4x weaknesses now. It's a Rock Psychic type, which is very, very fitting for Stakataka in my opinion. It should have always been this type. And it has two incredible abilities in Filter and Magic Bounce, which I think are also very, very fitting for Stakataka. These buffs are super funny. All of the Ultra Beasts, like, in my opinion, the Ultra Beasts should be super overtuned, you know? Like, that's their whole fucking thing. That's their whole vibe. So, 13 base special attack, 13 base speed is just funny to me. Like, I think it makes a lot of sense for this guy. He's literally just a sentient bunch of bricks with eyes, you know? He also has an incredible move pool, so not only is he incredibly bulky with 131, 211, 101, and Filter, Magic Bounce is also very useful. It makes him immune to Taunt, which is a very big thing in this hack that the AO will be using against you. It also makes him immune to phasing moves and all bunch of other utility moves, Parting Shot, etc. You can switch him in and reverse the effects of those moves, especially Taunt. So Magic Bounce allows you to get stuff like Trick Room up a lot easier, which he's obviously incredible under. He also has Volt Switch now for utility to switch in, because switch moves in general are very common in this hack, and I also think Volt Switch fits him really well. I see him using like electric type moves, hence why I also give Wild Charge and T-Wave and Strange Impulse most of the Ultra Beasts have, but that's a great utility move. Drops special attack by 2. He's actually the only Pokemon in the game that doesn't get any priority moves besides like let me rephrase. He's the only Pokemon in the hack that doesn't get any offensive priority moves. That's what I should say. You can still use Quick Claw. Buffed Quick Claw is a single-use item that always triggers now. So you can slap that on and use Quick Claw plus, Stone Edge or Zen Headbutt or whatever. All these moves are buffed to change, by the way. So do make sure you give those a look in the description because a lot of these moves are really useful now. But in general, he's just like the GOAT. Like, he's just absurdly bulky. He doesn't die to like anything. Although, let me rephrase that because he will die to things. The power levels in his hack are super high, so you can probably still find a calc to one-shot him. Like, I'm sure half of the Ruthless Mons can probably one-shot him with like a Choice Band. Like, I'm sure they can do it, or Choice Specs or something. I'm sure they can do it, but in general, like in terms of fighting the AI, like this guy is really fucking bulky. He won't die to many hits. He does have Set Amend for reliable recovery, which also heals him under 2/3 in sand. So Stakataka in the sand is like immortal, which is awesome. I love that. He's also really strong. He's not passive, obviously. He always had that great 131 base attack. The reason I gave him a giant HP stat, by the way, is because in this hack, I do try to base HP more on size, and Stakataka is fucking massive, so 131 base HP fits very well, and I think the stats also just look very satisfying this way. Like, they're a very nice looking stat spread. Yeah, powerful stab moves, like I said, Zen Headbutt and all that stuff. Rock Wrecker gives you -2 attack. That's 150 base power. That's really great. On him as like a pivot, you can Rock Wrecker, then Volt Switch out. He also has Mesmerize at 65, which is about 5 levels after you can catch him for the first time. Mesmerize is crazy on Stakataka. Mesmerize is a 100% accurate sleep move. Sleep is reworked in this hack to always last for 2 turns. However, because he's so slow, unless you're using Quick Claw Mesmerize, you're going to be going second in almost every case. So what that means is, let's say the opponent tries to use Taunt on you, fails, it Magic Bounces back, you click Mesmerize, now they're asleep. They're going to have 2 full turns of sleep now, so then you can push Trick Room on that next turn, then you can Volt Switch out, or you can just Volt Switch out on that next turn and then set up with your ally. Or you can, of course, just abuse that Trick Room on your own because you are very strong. So, yeah, ideally, I kind of see Stakataka as a mixed attacker, but there is not nearly enough points for that. And I didn't want to pull another huge power moment, which fits Guzzlord and Celesteela really well, and it would have fit Stakataka fine too, but I don't know. I think these stats are a lot cooler. He's just the fucking GOAT. Nothing too crazy. Rock Psychic is only used a few other times. Soul Rock, who is stronger, a special attacker, faster, earlier in the game, and has Sweltering Sun and Levitate, which gives him immunities to ground and water. So Soul Rock is totally unique from Stakataka. And then Minior is a complete blast cannon, the literal polar opposite of Stakataka, with 150 special attack and 150 speed. So no overlap there. All 3 of the Rock Psychic types are very unique from one another, which I like. Makes me very happy. And it's a really cool type combination as well. It's also not bad. I mean, it has a lot of weaknesses, like a lot, which is balanced. Like, it's 2 times weak to like a lot of stuff. But of course, with Filter, you're only taking 1.5, and then you have incredible bulk. So you will be swapping between Filter and Magic Bounce depending on the situation. Filter is useful for most fights. You know, you can also use Trick Room, Filter, plus Weakness Policy. Take any super effective hit, get +2 attack. Now you're in Trick Room, and you have 5 turns where you can just go crazy with, like, Zen had by Rock Move, Takedown, Earthquake, Wild Charge. You know, you got good coverage moves like Fighting coverage, Fighting coverage, Electric coverage, Steel coverage. That's actually about it. But that's really all you need on top of Rocket, Psychic, Dual Stab. You really just need Fighting, Rock, Fighting Ground, and Electric, and Steel. Fighting Ground, Electric, Steel, and then your Dual Stab. But Soul Rock, it's weak to Water, Grass, Bug, Ghost, Dark, and Steel. So Stakataka is weak to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 types, which isn't even that bad. 7, excuse me, Ground is there. Yeah, so 7 types. 2 times weak, but those become 1.5. And then you also have a lot of nice resistances to Normal, Fire, Flying, Psychic, and Poison, all of which are pretty nice resistances. And of course, like I said, he's incredibly bulky. He's got the reliable recovery. He's a great pivot. He's a great tank. He can support your team with Trick Room, with Strange Impulse, and Sediment, and all these other useful moves. And he's got so many fun things to abuse with. This is actually a super brief video. I don't really know what else to say. I mean, he's just really bulky. Speed Swap can be kind of funny. You know, you can give the opponent your 13 base speed, and then go to town there. Counter, Miracle, and Metal Burst are all great moves, especially for totem fights. Rockbreaker, like I said, is great. You also have Superpower, which is the same thing as Rockbreaker, just fighting type. Trick Room, neutral priority, so with Quick Claw that will go first, or not first technically. It makes you first in your priority bracket. So if the opponent is using an actual priority move, it'll still go first, but that's just how Quick Claw works. Yeah, it's so sick. I don't know what else to say. Magic Bounce is incredible. Filter's incredible. Very fitting buffs for Stakataka. He's the GOAT. Really cool design. I like him a lot. Again, I really just encourage you to check out that Google Sheet and look at the other Pokemon changes and all of the other move pool differences with all these moves, because he does have a lot of really fun, cool little tools. Even like Electric Terrain can be good to set up Volt Rush on your ally because of your great bulk, and having access to Magic Bounce to make you immune to taunt, you can Electric Terrain on the lead and then Volt Switch or something out into your Volt Rush abuser. So that'll be pretty good as well. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave the video off there, honestly. Thank you so much for listening. I wish I could go more in depth, but I don't really know how much more to elaborate on this. It's very straightforward. So yeah, bye everyone.